What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to today's edition of Free Tool Friday. My name is Tyler S. Clark, humble leader of the Proactive Accountants Facebook community. And if you are proactive, give me a hashtag proactive in the comment section down below, because what we are going to be talking about today is how to make sure that you have clarity on your pricing, but more importantly, when should you announce your price? What is the proper steps that need to be in place to get to that part, that critical part of the sales process, so that you can ultimately get paid the value that you deserve for your amazing services. So let's go ahead and dive into that. But before we do that, I'm going to soapbox alert. I'm going to step onto my soapbox. I have one thing that I just have seen too frequently that have cost too many profitable engagements that I simply have to address. It's just speaking to me right now, so I got to talk about it. Okay. I know that there is hesitations around how to price and when to announce your services, what should be in your packages, whether you should have packages or not, value billing, time billing. There's a lot of things out there that can cause some confusion. But the one thing that I see creates confusion during the sales process the most, that is prescribed the most from pricing gurus, is saying, okay, so you're going to put a lot of time and energy into creating these packages. And then when it comes time to have an opportunity, you're going to show them your packages. And you're going to let the prospect decide what's best for them. So essentially what we're doing is we're saying, okay, here you go. Did they pick the most expensive one? Did they? They didn't. Oh man. Well, maybe this one might be, I kind of actually want just this one right here. And what we've done is we've introduced confusion into the sales process by giving the power to the prospect. And what they're coming to you for is for guidance. And if you do not guide them to the appropriate place, you are intentionally shirking your responsibility just because you're afraid of being a little uncomfortable with the pricing conversation and making sure that they buy exactly what they need for where they are in their business cycle. So I emphasize that before we get into when it's time to announce your price, because that is the last thing that I want you to be doing. And I know some people do it successfully, and that's okay. But for the vast majority of you, I don't think that's the right way to approach it. What ends up happening is we create complexity and we give away the power that we have worked hard to obtain as a part of being proactive in how we're approaching our sales conversation. So with that in mind, let's do this. I want to make sure that you understand that there is a sequence that you will go through, a process that will make announcing your price feel as right as rain. Okay? So here's how this works. If you are unfamiliar with this process is extremely straightforward, and it is literally dialed in step by step. And I'm going to go through part of that, or a high level overview of that step. But there are 4 steps. The C4 sales script, the process, it literally walks you through it, get access to it, sign up for Igniter, and get access to next week's Secret Free Tool Friday, where we're going to highlight an individual who grew a bookkeeping practice, not a CPA, added 6 figures, did incredible job embracing the sales responsibilities. And she's also going to talk about how she built, or how you will never have to sell again. I know that sounds crazy. You can grow your firm without you ever needing to sell again. She's going to talk about that specifically inside of the Dream Firms Network. You get 30 days access when you sign up for Igniter. So if that sounds interesting, please sign up. We'd love to have you as a part of that. With that said, let's go through the C4 sales script so you can get to pricing. And of course, the last part of the C4 sales script is about pricing. So number 1, the first thing we have to establish is that you care about them, that you care about their problems, that ultimately that you are a service professional and that you are invested in listening to what they have to say. That's the very first part, right? Just be the type of client you want to have. You want me to care about you? Guess what? That's the very first thing you're going to find out when you ever have a chance to potentially work with me, is like, you're going to know I care. And that's something that, again, radiates through me. I want it to radiate through you, because your prospect will feel that. And when they feel that, it will make the announcement of your price, again, feel right as rain. Second thing that we have to do here, okay, is be fiercely curious. Because you cannot announce your price with the right feelings if you don't know their situation well enough to figure out what package is appropriate, and what complexity would be involved in their particular situation. So C2 is known as curiosity. It's, again, like, how can we make sure that they see you as a thought leader? How can we make sure they see you as a thought leader? And that might sound a little intense, but a thought leader is someone who asks meaningful questions and they literally guide thoughts. That's a thought leader. So you're asking specific questions. Again, part of the C4 sales script, we give you like 40 plus questions to ask that will make sure that you know the details of their situation so that you don't get burned on the quote. Okay. C3, you've established that you care about them. You've established that you're invested in their situation because you're curious. You're asking great, meaningful questions, elevating your status in their mind, AKA value, right? Your status goes up, your value goes up, your perceived value goes up. So now we get to C3. And C3 to me is another area in which I've seen too many things floating around online that suggest that I need to charge you $300 to answer that question, or I don't give out any information at all until you're a client. It's like, okay, that's fine. But quite frankly, I don't really know if you're even capable of giving out great information. And I'd like you to prove or validate that. And to summarize what this really means, it's the most powerful psychological element available to you. And that's not to be manipulative. It's just reflection of the way society has been built. Is it's about reciprocity, is that if I give you something of value now, the odds that you give me something of value go up. And that thing that I want that is of value is that you become a client. So if I can show you the power of my advice and guidance, and this is not giving away the farm, this is not answering every question for a free info seeker. That is not what this is. And of course, there's a script in here, the C4 sales script, that helps you with preventing that, but still being able to leverage the power of reciprocity. And look, I can tell you exactly the way it works. So essentially, you would get into it and you say, okay, listen, I really appreciate everything that you've shared with me. And I understand that one of your chief concerns is whether or not you are, and insert one of their major pain points. I'm going to pick one that is pretty common, is whether or not you're the right entity type or not. And normally I wait until I do my full client discovery until I provide any guidance, but I can tell you that since you're making a significant profit, that an S-Corp election would be a wise move for you and your business. Now, we can get this set up the right way and start saving in just a few minutes. Sound good? Now, of course, this is an easy way to start to roll into your presentation. This is a way to make sure that they validate that that's a good idea, that they want to get it set up, that they need help, that they didn't know this, right? These are all ways to, again, build your status, create reciprocity, but we've already set up the barriers, like no more free information at this point. This is a very solid tip or piece of guidance, but I can't do any more than this. And if they ask for, I'm sorry, look, to be perfectly fair, we don't practice accounting malpractice here. I don't know enough, but I do feel confident to share that one bit. And if you'd like me to continue to help you in your unique situation, let's explain exactly how we can do that. Now, what did we just do, right? We're moving into the presentation. And so when you get ready to move into the presentation, there is what I like to refer to as a transition phrase. And this is what is supposed to allow you to release the pressure, right? We don't want there to feel like, when do I start talking about how awesome all my stuff is? What we say is, would you like to understand how we can solve all of the problems you've outlined on your call? Who's going to say no to that, right? It's like, of course, I'd like to understand how you can solve all the problems I just got done telling you about. That's why we're on the phone in the first place. So boom, now you're right into it. You go service, benefit, 90% on the benefit side, of course, 95% arguably. We're not here to just talk about, features. And you're going to, based on how they've responded to your questions, this is where you slot them into the appropriate package. You don't give them the power, you keep the power, and you slot them where you believe they belong based on the problems they're experiencing and the value, the results that you believe they deserve where they are in their business. Simple as that, okay? So now we've gone through, we've established the first C3s, we've gone through our presentation, we've had that consultative sales approach, we make sure that they understand what they want, and now that you've gone through your presentation, This is when you announce your price. You don't leave your price for email. You don't leave your price for a fancy software. You need to communicate this right now. And to help you do that, you want to master this phrase. So I mentioned a transition phrase earlier, but this is how you transition now to your price. So you finish and you will say these words. We can do all of this for only $1,500 per month. We can do all of this for only $250 per month. We can do all of this for $5,000 per month. We can do all this for only, we can do all this for only, we can do all of this for only, and then announce your price. That is how you build up properly to the price, and you need to announce it on the call. Now, I know that makes a lot of people uncomfortable because they say, well, what if they were untrue in the number of transactions they said they had, or they didn't know, or what if, it's a quote, ladies and gentlemen. I have to emphasize this up and down, is that you are not married to it. And if there is anything that was untrue or comes out later, you are not married to it. And the client is not married to it. You don't have to take an unprofitable engagement because all of a sudden you realize that they thought that their books were in order. And then you took a look at them and you immediately knew it was totally wrong. Totally wrong. So again, the last part here is certainty on your pricing. And certainty can be a difficult thing to achieve, but all I ask you to remember and believe is that if you legitimately believe, and you have every reason to believe this, that your services can and will impact somebody's life for the better, you have certainty. I have certainty with what we do here at Dream Firms because I see the results every day. You have certainty with what you do with your clients because you see the results every single day. And I ask you to bring that reflection of the experience, the meaningful, positive impacts that you have on people's lives through the delivery of your services. Bring that into when you're getting ready to talk about price. You want to bring up your energy. You want to announce it. And on top of that, we have to gauge their willingness to invest. You're not going to be the cheapest, lowest priced accountant in town. You're not going to be agreeing to some hourly rate. You're not here to negotiate necessarily either, because if you agree to negotiate, what does that say about next year when a price raise comes into effect? What does that say? We're willing to negotiate. We're not here to negotiate. We're here to establish value and make sure that the C4 sales approach is something that is like the back of your hand. And when it's like the back of your hand, the conversation around pricing, the problems associated with it, they go away. They don't need to exist anymore, because when you are caring about yourself and caring about that person, when you have that fierce curiosity that turns you into a thought leader, when you have that consultative sales approach that creates that reciprocity, and when you have that certainty around your pricing because you know the impact your services can and will have on that person's quality of life, announcing your price will feel as right as rain. So if you'd like to learn more about sales, learn more about attracting high quality leads, sign up for Igniter. We've got an amazing secret free tool Friday coming up this week, which is only accessible inside of the Dream Firms Network. You get 30 days of access when you sign up. And we are going to be interviewing, again, someone that has amazing experience straight from the horse's mouth that is going to make sure that you see how this can be done in a high quality way, and maybe in a way that involves you never ever needing to sell again if you don't want to. Eventually you have to elevate out of that position, stay focused on high quality things, and you're going to need to find a way to remove yourself from the sales capacity of your business. And I believe this individual has an absolutely amazing way for that to be the case. So if you'd like to learn more, Igniter, link down below, #proactive down below for all those who are ultimately focused on creating their dream firms as efficiently as possible. My name is Tyler S. Clark. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Free Tool Friday. But above all else, please have certainty when you announce your price. It will make a world of difference in how quickly and efficiently you create your dream firm. And remember, only you can do that, but we help you every single step of the way. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone, and hopefully see you on the inside for Secret Free Tool Friday.